Okay, there we go. I'm a retired reporter. I had nothing to do, so I came down here to listen to you all, listen about AI. I remember in 1991, I was in Sierra Leone, and the telephone system did not work very well. They basically used handheld radios to communicate. And then along came cell phones. And so suddenly you didn't need all those poles and wires and things like that. So what I'm curious about, and one of the reasons I was here, what in this universe of AI might have a similar impact on the life of people in countries like Sierra Leone?
Similar to what happened a few decades ago when there was an opportunity to create the industry, the mobile industry, right? Where you had local players, including the government, bullish on the need to invest in mobile in Africa. And then you had the sources of funds, right? International investments, international companies looking at numbers and not thinking that there was a viable market, right? But through a series of steps, the first investments were made mostly by local players. And fast forward to now 2024, in Nigeria specifically, the mobile economy contributes around 16% to the national GDP in Nigeria. We're in that same place with artificial intelligence. What would be possible if AI could contribute make the same contribution to the GDP of Nigeria, to the GDP of other countries in Africa and the rest of the global south? That's the future that we are seeing as possible, and we've been working to try to unlock over the last 5 years. At least I can say that I'm excited that we all got to see ChatGPT about a little over a year ago. That has helped accelerate all this work and has started to open the minds of all the players.
You ask yourself, what can you do with a low-cost, power-efficient IoT device? What can you do with a Raspberry Pi computer, with an Arduino-based computer, which is small, will fit in your pocket, costs very, very little, and does not require the same amount of bandwidth or communication infrastructure to get to the cloud? So part of what the African ecosystem actually brings, besides the challenges of power, besides the challenges of infrastructure costs, besides the challenges of investments in technology infrastructure, is we are actually going to be a continent that will lead the charge on what this end node AI and ML, which we call doing it at the edge, if you have to be technical, right? Doing it at the edge means now I can take your vitals. If I'm a doctor in a remote place in Sierra Leone, using a Raspberry Pi computer, I can connect those vitals to your cell phone, and with SMS data, get it to a doctor in the city. And he will text me back, and I'll take that text back to the Raspberry Pi computer, connect it to a screen, and I will give you the same, not the same, but almost the same type of service that you would get at that hospital, only this time you're in the village. And I'm doing it on a very cheap and affordable computer. So the power of AI is really compute. But I don't want us to be stuck at the upper echelon of it, because that is a true thing, it's a true challenge when we talk about it. But when you bring it down to frugality, the frugal nature of the African ecosystem is where the ingenuity lies. That's why in our labs in Africa, we allow for what we call localization. Global and localized coming together. Give them the best practices, allow for the local startups to think about solutions that work for them, give them the tools that would allow them to bring that to bear, and then allow those solutions to thrive in that local environment. So the same innovation you saw with mobile is the same type of things we're championing, only we're doing so at both ends of the drive, because we can't build.
An action example, there is a great startup out of Nairobi called FastAgger, FAST-AGGER. that is doing what Obi was talking about, and it's using the technologies at the edge, and it runs everything on your sub-$100 smartphone. So a small language model, we all talk about large language model, it's a small language model that is run off your mobile phone, and it's able to enable even young children using their, again, sub-$100 smartphone to be able to access the same capability or be able to access from like a chat GPT, which requires millions of compute to be able to run. So the only disadvantage we have right now is we don't have enough data and data sets to be able to start training these models, but we are getting there. This is technology that is being built. It's not new, it's being built on the continent by young people on the continent. And that is what we are exporting to the world, because one day, as he said, power might run out. They will start defaulting to what we are already building that is built based on our own constraints.